Marcy, are you muted?
There we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on a Wednesday afternoon. DEP reached out to us this year to go over the concierge program that they introduced to us last year. So welcome back, DEP, and Camille, you can take it away.
Thanks, Marcy, and thanks so much for having us back and for having us speak to you today. Also here with me today are Commissioner Katie Dykes, Deputy Commissioner of Environmental Equality, Betsy Wingfield, Nicole Lugley, the Office Director of Planning and Program Development, Amy Richardson, who's also on the Client Concierge team, and B. Milne with Permit Assistance. So, Commissioner, did you want to say anything to start us off? Or okay.
Yeah, well, I just want to say thanks for having us. I'm thrilled to see so many people participating in the WebEx today. You know, the concierge service is one of the things that we established as part of the 20 by 20 initiative. And of course, you know, the focus that we had in 20 by 20 is on improving transparency and predictability and efficiency of our permitting and regulatory processes. And that commitment and that work did not end in December of 2020, but really continues on. So we've dedicated some significant resources, including the talents of Camille and others on her team who you'll be meeting or hearing from today, to establishing this concierge service. And this is really meant to be a tool for all of you, for the regulated community, as well as other stakeholders who frequently engage with our processes. And, you know, I think what Camille's going to walk through is, you know, some of the services that you can access through the concierge. But I also want to underscore that we're constantly refining the focus and the services and the tools available through the concierge service in response to your feedback about what would be helpful. So, you know, that some of that feedback we are inviting in a slightly more formal way through an advisory committee that we've established. We've had a number of volunteers who step forward, including, I think, some folks who are on this call who have agreed to volunteer a few hours of their time over the next couple of months to give us some more sustained input on some key improvements that we're looking to make. But this meeting today is another opportunity for us to again share what we're doing and really you know, this tool will the tools and the services provided through the concierge are only as valuable as the input that you provide us, you know, to really tell us how we can make this interface as effective as possible for you. So with that, great to have everybody on today, and looking forward to the discussion.
Thanks so much, Commissioner. All right, so Deputy Commissioner Wingfield, did you have anything to add before I begin, or shall I just begin? Okay. I'm going to share my screen with you, presentation that I
was
have.
Having technical problems, so my apologies.
Oh, sure.
I was having trouble coming off mute.
Short.
No,
She looked like she was very short.
Underscoring what Commissioner Dyke said, this is a great opportunity to hear the exciting things we're doing and also to get some feedback from you. Everyone being here.
Yes, we can hear you. I think we're having some technical issues.
Go ahead, Camille.
Okay. All right, sorry about that, Betsy. All right, so if if you want to jump in at any time, Deputy Commissioner, just go right ahead if you get your audio to work. As the commissioner introduced, we are the Client Concierge Service. We are DEEP's central office point of contact for stakeholder assistance with environmental permitting, and we were created around, the whole idea to improve communication, transparency, and predictability about DEEP's processes for our stakeholders. And so that's really what our mission is all about, to facilitate that communication and to help applicants navigate the permitting process. So the concierge service in particular really provides individualized attention to the permit applicant's needs. We have a dedicated inbox and a dedicated website, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. So just to give you an overview, DEEP's permit assistance encompasses both pre-application assistance and concierge services. And it also includes things like my Teams notifications are on, folks. Sorry about that. Permit assistance also includes license transfers, name changes, and handling general permit questions. So, that aspect of permit assistance is we assist any applicant and anyone who contacts us with that type of information. The pre-application assistance specifically typically begins, with before an application is submitted for review and approval by the department, and requests for pre-application assistance are made by submitting the pre-application questionnaire, and there's guidance on our website on how to do that. But the advantage is for that pre-application assistance is we put together a pre-application meeting for you, and we gather relevant program staff, and we hold the meeting with the staff people for those particular permits to answer any questions that the applicant may have, provide estimated time frames for processing those applications, and really just help sequence the order of the applications that one might want to submit. Okay. Sorry, a little delay there in the response to WebEx here. Okay. So another aspect of permit assistance is the Client Concierge Service, and that focuses both on specialized permit assistance during and after submittal of permit applications, and also on outreach to our external stakeholders. If needed, during the permit application and processing, we provide an additional level of communication between divisions within DEEP, for example, to coordinate the review of multiple permits. And we also often liaise with other state agencies to facilitate projects that involves multiple state agencies. So we know that complex projects often involve multiple permits and ambitious project timeframes. So we hope that by providing this service to our customers, and supporting our permitting programs. We are working to uphold our permit standards and the critical mission of our agency to protect and enhance the quality of Connecticut's air, water, and lands. I want to note here that the concierge service doesn't replace DEEP's current permit processes and contacts. You can still, have your regular contacts with your permit programs. We are just here to provide a complementary level of support to the permitting process. Some of the types of projects that the concierge team might focus on are those that involve economic recovery, highly complex, multiple permitting projects, as I mentioned, shovel-ready type projects, and projects that support economic development in an environmentally responsible way. Projects often come to us through the team's coordination and attendance at those pre-application meetings, inquiries to our concierge inbox. Sometimes they come to us through internal referral from our permitting programs, and sometimes they come to us from referral from other state agencies and local governments. So a little bit about our outreach. We frequently make presentations such as this one to our stakeholder organizations. I think this is the 18th presentation I've given since we launched in March of 2020. We also work closely with DECD for proactive interagency communication. And this allows us to have more time-critical decision-making on bringing projects to Connecticut and businesses to Connecticut. In the past year, we've expanded our outreach with an informative and entertaining video with the voiceover of yours truly. And in this video that's linked here in the presentation, which I'll send tomorrow, this afternoon or tomorrow. In this video, we give an overview of the permit assistance and concierge service that we offer. We also have a virtual brochure and permitting fact sheets, which are not by program, but they are by sector. So a little bit more about the brochure. It's a PDF, and it's something that you can share with your clients, for example, to inform them a little bit about what the concierge service offers. It highlights some recent projects, and we can provide updates on the concierge service and permit assistance through this brochure. Our permitting fact sheets by sector, to date, we have put out these sector fact sheets on solar energy, offshore wind energy, and farm-based anaerobic digesters. And the goal of these fact sheets is to provide information on all the possible permits that might be needed for a particular type of project. They provide an overview of these permits that a business or a person might need to start their project, and maybe even to plan ahead before the pre-application meeting. Also included are estimated permit processing times for complete permit submittals, public notice, and submittal information. So I think the topic of our next sector fact sheet will likely be something on breweries and distilleries, which is a rapidly growing business in Connecticut, and many wastewater processing savings can be realized there. So keep your eye out for that next sector fact sheet. One of the things that the commissioner touched upon is that we hope to make continual process improvements to the concierge service. We've been looking at other states' permit assistance programs. We recently did a benchmarking with 11 other states just to find out what they offer and how they work. And we're using this information to plan for the future development of permit assistance in Connecticut. We're also going to be conducting some feedback surveys, both internally and externally, so you can look for that in the coming year. And in this way, we're ensuring that economic development together with environmental protection. Another exciting thing that we're doing, one of our current projects to improve permit assistance is through our web pages. We're taking some of what we learned from our benchmarking and we're incorporating it into these new web pages. We've been, with a grant from EPA, we've been working with a marketing consultant to remake the permit assistance web pages and improve the user experience on our website. And revealed for the first time is a draft of the landing page here for permit assistance. So I'm pleased to announce that these pages should come out soon. And we're also going to be working, with the same marketing consultant on discrete projects throughout DEEP's web pages for the remainder of the year. Incidentally, the consultant that we're working with, Adams and Knight, was also the consultant that developed all of DECD's web pages. So the last thing I want to mention today is the Concierge Permit Advisory Committee. The commissioner has asked us to host this advisory committee to receive feedback on the website experience for permit assistance and ways that we might be able to improve. The announcement came out about a month ago, and our kickoff meeting is next Tuesday on the 22nd at 2 p.m. I put the registration in here because it's a public meeting, and anyone is invited to come and listen. Some of your distinguished members here are on the panel. I recognize some of the names, so thank you so much for volunteering. Can't wait to hear your feedback. So we look forward to our future coordination with each of our stakeholders, and just want to reiterate that our front door is always open for assistance on environmental permitting matters, and you can sign up to receive email updates about concierge and permit assistance through Constant Contact. And now I will turn it over to Deputy Commissioner Wingfield, or ask for any questions or suggestions on the new initiatives that I've talked about today. Betsy, are you?
Can you hear me, Camille?
I can.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just opening up to questions or suggestions from the audience would be great.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to stop my screen share. I will send this PowerPoint later today. Let's see. Did that work, Marcy?
Yes.
So, okay.
Yes, it did.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Is this the afternoon after lunch nap time?
Feel free to ask questions in the chat function or by unmuting. If you're on the phone, it's *6.
I'll ask a question if I may. Richard
Sure.
Warren here. I'm just curious with the concierge efforts, when a permit may require multiple DEP permits, is the concierge effort going to direct the applicant how to make all the appropriate contacts with the different departments, or will the concierge actually assist getting through the different departments of permits? I hope that's a clear
So,
question.
yeah, so, typically, with a multiple permit project, we encourage everyone to start with a pre-application meeting so that we can get to know the project and provide upfront advice. And then, usually Amy or I are in attendance at those meetings, which are typically run by B. Milne, who's also on this call. And, we listen in on those meetings and participate in those meetings. And then, we decide if, something's going to need a little bit further guidance, in which case, the concierge team would step in and help with that navigation. Does that answer your question, Richard?
Yes, I may follow up, but yes, thank you.
Okay.
There's some questions in the chat, Camille. One of them is from Chuck
Yes.
Nicole, and it says, how many clients have you assisted to date?
That is a good question, Chuck. I think we are assisting about 40 projects currently. Obviously, we have a lot more, and those are multiple permit projects. We don't usually, the concierge doesn't usually assist with, single permit projects, but we're helping with about 40 complicated projects at the moment.
So, and that actually leads into another question that's in the chat from Matt Hackman. And the question is assistance limited to individual permits, or does it include GP registrations? He apparently has a client whose remedial action plan will require multiple GP registrations.
Yeah, so the concierge, the permit assistance helps everyone. The concierge is usually reserved for more complex projects. It could be multiple GPs or multiple individual permits. It just depends on the complexity of the projects. And to follow up with your next question, Matt, is the assistance available for other issues such as applying for an engineered control? If an engineered control, if remediation type issues come up, during the permitting process, then yes, we help coordinate that with, the permitting programs as well. So I think that should answer your question. Okay, you mentioned a new fact sheet under development. What fact sheet is that? Betsy responded that it's going to be focused on breweries. Yes, we're working on that, and that should come out, probably later in the year. Any other questions for me, for us today?
If there aren't other questions, I have a question for the group, which would be also to, ask about what kinds of pain points you're encountering, you or your clients, that you think a concierge service might be able to assist with.
This is Todd Berman from United Illuminating. Can you hear me? So following up on that question, we obviously have a lot of permits thus far. We haven't felt a need to sort of invoke the concierge service. That said, on a forward-looking basis, I could certainly see that. The one thing forward-looking where what about a temporary authorization? Is that something, we have a project that is soon to submit a temporary authorization request, and there is some real-time sensitivity to it. Is that something that, do we think, would be eligible within this program? And I ask that without having an expectation that it is, but just curious.
So Todd, typically for a temporary authorization, you'd work directly with the permitting program that is issuing that. If it was part of a complex project and there were a couple of different moving pieces, that might be ideal for concierge. But I would strongly recommend that you go directly to that program and engage early if you need a TA for a specific type of activity.
Oh, we're already well down the track, actually.
Okay.
In that.
And I don't know whether we've lost Camille. One of the other questions in the chat was, can you give a brief description of what you consider the most complicated permitting project you've dealt with? I think we might have lost Camille.
Hi, Betsy. I could maybe try to answer this on behalf of Camille. She's having some technical difficulties. This is Amy Richardson, a team member with the concierge service. I can't mention which the project off the top of my head of what might be the most complicated. However, we have had projects that have stormwater GPs, dam safety registrations, municipal permits, some remediation involved. So we have had some projects that span almost every permitting department so far. So if you consider that complicated, then we're currently tackling it. I'm not sure, Nicole, if you can weigh in and mention anything else that you can think of, but we've started to almost see all of it, I think. I hope that answers your question.
And to follow up on Commissioner Dyke's questions, are there any other pain points that people would like to bring up that might be helpful for the concierge office to hear or for KDI to hear that you'd like us to be aware of?
Hi, this is Wayne from GZA. I just want to bring up the situation when we're out on the coast doing permitting. There's federal permits. It'd be good for the concierge service to be able to offer that connection to the federal counterparts to try to get the state and the federal folks on the same page. I don't know if you're doing that now, but that would be a good area. There's been some delays on the federal side of permitting in coastal areas.
So Wayne, are you specifically talking about characterization associated with dredging?
No, this was our living shoreline projects, and the issues that they're looking at, Fish and Wildlife Service compared to the state, and then there's different priorities for what the federal permit folks were looking at as compared to the state. Good news was the project did get permitted and constructed, but it could have gone smoother.
I think that's an opportunity for us to look at as we're working on our state issued permits. They very often go hand in hand with the federal permits, and bringing our federal partners along as we do that. It's a good suggestion.
And I think just like with the state, when there's multiple federal agencies, it adds to the complexity as well. So anything that would reduce the communication challenges of multiple permits, multiple agencies can only help, you know.
Any other suggestions or questions? Okay. I would suggest we wrap it up there then, but please feel free to reach out to Camille, Amy, Nicole, Betsy, or Katie or I if you have suggestions or questions. And especially if you have areas that you think we should be focusing on or things that could be clearer, fact sheets that you think might be helpful. We're really developing the fact sheets based on our experience and where we've really helpful to provide some additional guidance to the regulator. Camille, did you want to say something?
No, sorry, I just had lost my connection there. I apologize about that. Yeah, our email inbox is deep.concierge@ct.gov, and a link to that is in the presentation that I will forward to you all. Thank you so much for coming and listening today. And hope to see you all at the Concierge Permit Assistance Advisory Committee.
And thank you to Marcy and CBIA for hosting today.
Oh, you're very
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you. I hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks.
Thanks, Marcy.
Very welcome anytime.